side of the latest VW Passat. It's a bit different than the Passat you might be familiar with. You see, it's been painstakingly crafted for American tastes.
How so? Let me explain.
First, it's actually built in America, Chattanooga, Tennessee to be specific. Second, it's bigger. Take that for what it's worth, America. And third, it's cheaper. The Passat has traditionally cost more than its sedan competitors, bridging the gap between mainstream and premium sedans. No longer. Starting at less than $21,000, destination included, this is a Passat for the masses. Which leads us to our first observation. Having experienced the cheapened and Americanized current generation Volkswagen Jetta, we expected something similar from the Passat. You know, generally pretty good, but less special than the cars that preceded it. But with Passat, things are different. I know VW pulled money out of the car somewhere. I mean, they cut more than $7,000 off the previous Passat's base price, but how and where the savings occurred aren't glaringly obvious.
The interior is nicer than expected. Yes, there's some hard plastics, but there's also a lot of soft touch materials, and it all feels bolted together really nicely. And check this out. Damped. These buttons feel good. The seats are comfortable and supportive. It's classy and tasteful in here, like a lady you'd bring home to the folks. On a related note, the back seat is huge, had a little bit of headroom, and it would be executive worthy. Fun fact, I actually had to change clothes back here the other day, and public exposure might have been an issue if the spacious cabin hadn't made swapping pants so darn easy.
Enabling the plus-size interior are large exterior dimensions. Compared to the previous Passat, the latest generation is 4 inches longer, half an inch wider, half an inch taller, and approximately 4 inches longer in wheelbase. Yet with all that extra size, the new Passat, at least in 5-cylinder form, is still lighter than the old Passat. VW did the same bigger yet lighter thing with the Jetta. I'm not sure what they're doing to drop the weight, but good for them. And I'll just assume they're weight-reducing unicorn.
But what about driving dynamics, a traditional Volkswagen strong suit? Put simply, the Passat rides well, handles nice, and steers really great. In motion, the Passat feels more agile than most of its mid-sized competitors, but every once in a while, after hitting a large bump, it feels like the suspension takes an instant too long to settle, like it's briefly doing an impersonation of Flipper rather than composing itself. But compared to its sedan peers, the Passat's road manners are among the best.
Let's talk engines. With the Passat, you have 3.
This is the base engine. Acceleration is good, and it sounds funky because of the 5-cylinder engine design. A 6-speed automatic is an optional transmission, but the standard transmission is a 5-speed manual. 5 speeds. Quaint, huh? If you can afford the extra $3,500 or so to step up from the 5-cylinder to the VR6, I suggest you do it. Floored from a stop, and the front tires struggle for grip. Excellent acceleration, and the fuel economy is not that much worse than in the 5-cylinder. Also, the VR6 only comes paired with VW's excellent DSG twin-clutch transmission. So let's recap. Excellent power, stupid fast shifts, and pretty decent fuel economy. For a little more than $2,000 over the price of the base 5-cylinder, you could drive this, the TDI diesel. Now why would you buy a car that increases your use of truck stops? Simple, fuel economy. The TDI engine runs out of steam over 4,500 RPM, and it doesn't deliver the effortless acceleration that we love so much in our favorite diesel-powered sedan, the BMW 335d. But drivability is good, and noise is only marginally worse than in the gasoline variants. The Passat diesel requires small sacrifices from its owner, but in exchange, you get excellent fuel economy. So yes, you'll spend more time at truck stops, but those stops should be infrequent. So far, everything sounds pretty positive, but there are some weird bits. Exhibit A, this touchscreen. What starts as a reasonably intuitive interface is tarnished by laggy reaction times. See, I'd rather look at the road ahead than stare at that screen, making sure that my touch was accepted. A firmware update may be in the future, we certainly hope so. Exhibit B, the steering column hangs really low. I keep hitting my knee with it. No irony-laced commentary necessary, it's just plain annoying.
Weirdness aside, VW has pulled a pretty neat trick. They built the Passat specifically for America, made it way cheaper than the model it replaced, and still managed to produce a car that can compete with the likes of Camry, Fusion, Accord, Altima, Sonata, Optima, 200, Kazashi, Malibu, and whatever other midsize sedans I might be forgetting.
right, so the category might be a little crowded, but we fully support more competition. I mean, competition is as American as Mutti and Apfelstrudel. So we say, Prost, American Passat, Prost.